I'm trying to work right now, but the music is calling, and I must go.
You know what's really cool is that we have the ability to think and rationalize. We have the internet, which is fucking amazing because we can learn anything that we want in a second, and yet we can get lost in like cute puppy videos or whatever fucking recipe or whatever. But we can also get lost in different theories of, what's going on in our world right now. Have for many years had quite an interest in Illuminati videos and just like information articles, especially within the music industry. And my ex lover of many a year, Michael, is the one who first had me watch like Alex Jones videos, and I fucking hated him. I mean, I'm still not a fan of his. But for the first time in my life, I was starting to think, and I felt like for so long I was stopping myself from thinking. And this was because I feared of thinking outside of the constructs that I had been taught all of my life to think in, as far as how life is supposed to go. And so listening to him, this out of, like, he's annoying. If you've ever listened to him, like, he is annoying, and he has like weird ways to go about finding knowledge or whatever, but he did wake up certain things within me that made me want to explore. Around that time when I was introduced to George Carlin, and then it was around that time when, I was introduced to Cat Williams and people who stepping outside of the box and saying things that I was like, oh, I shouldn't, my ears shouldn't hear this because it's not of God or whatever. This isn't of, what I had always been taught to believe. And it's so crazy that what I feel as like this ever-present connection in humanity and in consciousness, not just with humans, is like what I'll refer to in poetry or in whatever I'm writing as, the universe. This is like the universe is everything. But at the same time, like, that's technically what God is too. So when I say things that are the universe, it is also, I am saying things that this is God. This is like our higher power, and it's not anything that's apart from us. It's something that's like within all of us, and it's in our fingers, and it's in our eyes, and it's in everything, this matter that's all existing around us, all the shit that we can't see. All the shit that we can't see is just potential to be anything that we want to create it to be. So we are God, but God is also higher than us because we strive to be at that height. But it's not something that's apart from us. It's not something that we will have eternal damnation for not believing in. Just as we're all, in a sense, Jesus in the biblical sense, and the Holy Spirit and all of it in like a religious type of sense, like that's all of the thinking stuff, that's all of the matter that's around us. And we get in like wars, and we kill people, like we're people, and we kill our own people because of disagreements, and that just like blows my mind if you stop and think about it. It's not something that we should stop and dwell on and feel victims of anything like that. Like, we're all here, we're all given these voices, we're all given our own perspective. That's where I feel like we're all the creators, right? So we're here, and we need to express what we're seeing, and we need to not get caught up in the things that are trying to distract us, the things that we, because participation in those things just causes that consciousness, that untapped in or very tapped into stuff that's around us. It causes the creation of more of that. It breeds more. When you want to breed all the good shit, then why would we ever take the time to focus on the bad shit? Because like our thoughts are what create what's around us, because that is how God creates with and through us. Because we're creating beings who have a purpose, and our purpose is to express our perception, and that's exactly what we should be doing, all the time. And then all that good shit that's around us, that's going to make us, create the type of world that we want to live in. So the only way to change the world is to start being better to ourselves. And then once we start being better to ourselves with our thoughts and how we speak to ourselves and what we do with our physical bodies and what we do with our minds and our emotions, once we start to take care of that, but acknowledge that there needs, there's a balance of negative potential, because there's potential and, infinite amount of potential. But once we acknowledge the potential that we have for greatness, and then we use that and project it on other people, like, you're great, right? You're a fellow human, you're an extension of God, just like I'm an extension of God. We're all pieces of this universe. Like, why would we ever be unkind to one another? And why would we ever, why would we be so destructive? It's really powerful that we have the ability to think, and some of us don't ever think at all. I can name years of my life when I wasn't actually thinking. I was just replaying things in the past and creating unfortunate things in my present mind that would thus create the future. But if we think, and we're logical, and we're kind to ourselves, and we're kind to others, like, that's the only way we can change what we don't like to be what we do like. And that's the only way that we can find the stillness and connection that we all crave, whether we admit it to ourselves or not. Like, we all crave stability and feeling understood. We all crave that. We're supposed to. That's why we're here. To express our own perception of what's going on, and, how we can make this, reality a utopia, and have our friends experience their own utopia perception too. It was when I was in my early 20s when I first started to really understand the concept of heaven and hell, and how, like, duality is ever present in everything, like, constantly, but everything that we have is a choice. Everything. Heaven and hell are in our minds. Like, I keep pointing to my head, it's not there. Like, our mind is just like this consciousness that's existing. Like, we don't actually, like, where's your mind? It's not your brain. What makes you think. Being in hell and being in heaven are total, complete mindsets, and we can make our minds very, very sick, and we can make our minds very, very well by how we think. And once we learn to master the thinking stuff within us, we can literally vibrate at frequencies and affect change around us, and help other people think too. So that's the rabbit hole of my thoughts for the evening. I'd like to say that I was high or something, but I totally wasn't. I just had cucumbers and hummus for dinner. So did Darla. She had hummus and cucumbers for dinner also. Yeah. So that was the rabbit hole of taste thoughts.